All right. Welcome Wednesday edition of Driving with Styles. And yes, the sun did come up this morning after that after that game last night. Uh, it is amazing how sometimes we as fans cannot see the bigger picture, and it's always an instant evaluation of everything. Um, that's why I always say just wait until everything pans out. Although I'm also one of those, I fall into that sometimes. But at the end of the day, I always look at the big picture. And one loss is one loss. It's not one loss doesn't equal 20 losses because it's the end of the season, or because it's senior night, or it's because we lose to Tennessee. Um, I guess how many games we won in a row? Did we really see us winning the next what 3 games in SEC tournament, then run the table in the big tournament? Uh, you're asking a lot uh, for 18 to 22 year olds. So that game was, as I tweeted last night, is was eerily similar to the girls' game against Vandy. The only difference is we were at home and the women were on the road. But it was a game where, as an athlete, it's sad to say, but sometimes when the ties turn and the opponent finally grabs the lead, you start pressing, and and when you press, usually good things don't happen, and that's what we did last night, and that's why we got sloppy at the end. We were pressing, we were loose the first half, and the start of the second half to get up to 17. But once Tennessee got it under 10, and then when Tennessee got under 10, they got some confidence, got it to 7, then we started pressing. And um, some words that I, as an athlete, former athlete, I'm not an athlete anymore. I hate hearing is giving up, mental weakness. It's like, come on, man. That other team on the other side deserves some of the credit. Yes, we deserve some of the blame, but the other team deserves some of the credit too. And Fulkerson had probably his best game of the season. I haven't seen Tennessee play but twice, but that guy played well. And I didn't say this when it was happening, but I think we fell into a false sense of security with IQ and his clutchness. He is definitely clutch. That's not to say he isn't. He's definitely a great player. However, when those games, I can't remember how many games, but it's been a few games towards the end of the season where he ended up with between 17 and 25 points on a poor shooting night. And the way he garnered those points was on the free throw line, 8 to 14 to 15 free throws in all those games where he was not hitting from the perimeter or shots wouldn't fall in the paint. Well, last night, him and Maxie were what 13 of 31. The only reason I remember that is because the 3-1. They were 13 for 31 for the game, and Maxie was actually I think 8 for 15, so he had a good game. So that means IQ was. 5 for 16. It's not a good night. But he only shot 3 free throws. That's the game. I mean, it seems like all fans want to get on Higgins. Understand I'm not that guy because I think he does so much more defensively. But that game, to me, was lost. And when you become a 3-guard team, you live and die. You live and die by the 3. You live and die by those 3 guards. And Nick not getting into the game, only getting 5 shots, not throwing it down to him at the end of the game. Even if he doesn't shoot it, he can kick it out for more open shots. I can't believe I've always said I wouldn't allow the game, but that was the difference to me. Not getting the ball in the paint and IQ not getting the free throw line. But mental weakness, not playing hard, all that is just cliche stuff that fans love to say. It's the easiest thing to say, but no one knows inside those guys' heart. And I'll say one thing about this team. This team plays hard. And not playing hard is something that I don't think should be said or could be said, because how can you determine it? Someone tweeted that because Higgins, after one turnover, didn't sprint back. Come on, man. That happens every game by every player. If he's in the paint, he's not the first guy back. Whoever's at the top of the key should be. But that's me dissecting it. The other thing that I really hate hearing is this whole thing about how Coach Cal seems to yell a lot at certain players and not other players. I've been a coach. That happens. You know your players. You can't treat every player the same. There are some players who are harder on themselves than you can ever be. So therefore, there is no need for you to pile on. I mean, I had players. My son could take me yelling at him consistently when I had another player who was, I mean, these kids were, I had the kids from the age of 9 to 13. And this one kid was just sensitive. And no matter if I said something positive to him, you can see his eyes tear up if I said it in a certain tone. It was the weirdest thing. Every player cannot be treated the same. And I learned this my whole career, but it was sealed in college. And I hope Coach Curry never listens to any of this. But my junior year, we were playing LSU, which is a big game for me, obviously, in Lexington. We had a team meeting. Let's say the team meeting's at 5 o'clock. I was outside at that time, talked to my girlfriend, lost track of time, and I'm early. Lost track of time. I'm like, oh, snap. This is cell phone time. I didn't have a watch, and time just passed. But so I'm walking in, and Coach Archer is walking out of the building, looks at me like, dude, are you serious? So he's like, dude, you late. I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm rushing in. I rush through the locker room portion because I come from one end. So I open the door. Everybody's sitting down. That means, I don't know how many players we dressed, had to be over 60 players. Everybody and the coaches are in the meeting room sitting down. I open the door knowing that I'm about to get it. Well, I open the door, and you know what? Guess who enters the other side? My man, Mo Williams. And when I enter first by a split second. Coach Curry looks at me with the stare that only he can give you. And I'm like, oh, shit. And split second later, the other side opened from the meeting room in. There's 2 entrances to the big meeting room, locker room and the meeting room. And Lo and behold, Mo Williams opens the door from the meeting room side. Now, Coach Curry's looking at me. Then he hears the door. He looks at there, and he sees this Mo, and he looks up at the clock. And the rule for us at that time was you're 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late. That was the rule. So you were supposed to be there early and sitting down and prepared, notebook out, all that stuff. Well, this time Coach Curry looked at the clock and we were like right on time. But Coach Curry started talking. He said, "You know what, guys, y'all made it just in time." Now, I would like to have said he did that because of me and the importance of me playing, but no, it was because of Mo. Mo was that dude. And we did make it under the start of the meeting time. And that moment I knew, okay, yeah, that's still the deal. Everybody treated different. If I would have entered that meeting by myself, I would have been, I don't know what would have happened, but I definitely wouldn't have started. And I end up having the game sealing interception at the end of the game. So I don't know if I would have played. I definitely wouldn't have started. But you can't treat everybody the same. And you learn that as you coach the kids. Or as my mom used to tell my coaches early on, is get in word for word. She told one of my little league coaches, get in his ass because he can handle it. And because I had a mom who was a loud talker, and my dad on the other end was the total opposite of the spectrum. But my mom was a loud talker, and a harsh critic. So she told my coaches and Little League, get in them. Don't let them off easy. Because I was that kid whom I moved on to the next play. It didn't matter what happened. I'm not a harper of a one play and sit down there and soak. So if I wasn't told why the hell did you do that, I'd be like, all right, dude, I'm on to the next play. So to me, being coach hard, and not coach hard, but coach verbally hard was something that I needed. And that might be something that Maxie needs. So, and then there's other things that fans don't know is that every turnover isn't the fault of the guy who's passed the ball. And you can see and be like, oh my God, that was obviously a bad pass, but we don't know where the guy was supposed to be. You don't know if Max is supposed to be there, for example, because everybody said, well, oh, why Max get yelled at? Well, there might be a reason. There's a reason to every coach madness. You might not understand. I might not understand. That's why I stay out of it. There's a reason to the madness. You can say Coach Cal is the worst coach ever, or it's like weird, man. I know for me, coaching younger kids, we used to run stuff and practice and run it perfectly. And then in games, just choke up. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's because we're practicing against ourselves. Well, I knew guys around town. I used to, I guess, run a controlled scrimmage. And they were running perfectly against them. But when it got game time, they just retreated to some other form of basketball. That happens. And to say Coach Cal isn't a great X and O coach, he might not be an elaborate play design. Like, I didn't run plays, I ran concepts. The players, to me, being a player, I like the freedom to control the game on the court. So we didn't run, well, pass here, pass here, pass here. It has to go here. No, because especially for little kids, if someone was defending it, then what are they going to do? Throw it away. So the angle of uh, why does Cal not yell at Higgins and he yells more at because Higgins understands he just effed up. And he probably understands why. You know why? He probably understands why and why coach is probably comfortable with that. Because in meetings or when it comes to the sideline, he is able to verbalize what just happened. Some of us have memories of an elephant. I just talked to my high school coach yesterday at track practice, and we was talking about somehow what we got to my son because he's in eighth grade. He's bigger than I was in high school, and we start talking about old games, and I started to blurt out specific plays. He was like, "How do you remember that?" I'm like, "Coach, it's just I don't know." Some of us have that memory. It's like LeBron going through exactly what happens during game, like Deshaun Watson going in his press conference, going exactly what the defense gave him. That I can still do that now. Not to every play, that'll be impossible, but there are key plays in big games that I play in, and I can tell you exactly what happened. Formation, um, what I was, everything. So we don't know. It's easy to see something at game time, but you have no idea what's going through the week. You have no idea the personality of these kids. You have no idea the method of the madness by the coach. Uh, that's why for me, when I coach, I allow every parent in the gym so they can see and they understood like, oh man, y'all have a great press break, but when you get in the game, the kids just like, see, I can't tell you. I don't know why. Well, I know why because the kids weren't totally as I say, when the lights get bright, some people need sunglasses. And sometimes that glare got a little too bright for some of my players and they just clammed up. But so that's it. Um, it's one game. They lost 3 games in conference. 3. I mean, jeez. It was a bad loss. We shouldn't have lost the game. But shit happens. It happens. It happens to the best of them. And this whole that's MO. I would say this. One thing I do like about this team is we have won a lot of close games. This is not the year where there's going to be a. And typically in tournament time, there are not that many blowouts against the uh, closely matched teams. Now, the 1 against 16 can get out of hand, but there's not that many just straight blowouts. But like I said, the one thing we don't have, and I know the whole IQ thing has taken off is we don't have a true get bucket guy. We just don't. Uh, like I said, IQ, if he's hot, it's good. And when he's not hot, if he's getting to the free throw line, he's good. But there's going to be games where the refs are not going to give him a call, which to me is I don't understand how Higgins gets no call going to the rack. He gets 0. He gets no benefit of the doubt. All right, that's enough of me basketball. Jeez, I think we talked the whole time. Um, let's switch back over to football. I cannot wait for the season. And I think that was obvious with my way too early prediction. Was that last month or was it this month? No, was it February or January? Because obviously it's March. Um, man, I've been telling everybody who want to listen. Kevin Joseph is that dude, and it is no way in hell that he is not going to be a starter. I think people thought I was joking, and I understand how I read a tweet by Dart talking about he has no touchdowns against him and all that is being disrespected. Man, carry that chip. I love it, but come on. There's a lot of there's a lot of variables to not being a touchdown being thrown on you. There's a lot of things that go into that. But hold that chip, please. I love it. But Kevin Joseph is a beast. I seen the kid in high school. I watched him at LSU his freshman year. He has something. Like I said, also, we don't, and not trying to say this, it's going to come off a certain way. It's not meant that way. But we don't come from the boot to travel 12, 13 hours to Las Vegas and not ball out. We're not moving that far away from home to not prove who we are. And we ain't going down without playing. I can't say that that's everybody from Baton Rouge, but I know that kid. I know where he's from. That's our mentality, period. And that kid is special. He's got a dog in him that he wears on his sleeve. And I've said it, I can't remember. There was a tweet, and I'm like, I can't remember exactly what, but I have a feeling that Kevin Joseph's going to play corner. He's going to start. And then lo and behold, Coach Stoops says in his press conference that he's going to start him at corner. Bruh, I'm telling you, that guy he reminds me of myself, if I can say that. Now I can say that I'm getting old in age. I can say that he reminds me of myself with better press cover skills because he is long. He is long and aggressive. I wasn't long, but I was aggressive. And he will hit you. That kid will be a starter. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, because the guys are going to play. Dort and Brown are going to have to become backups. Him and if everybody stays healthy, Kevin Joseph and Eccles are going to be your starting corners. If he's not going to be a corner, he's going to be a safety. I'm just telling you, he can play either. If for some reason he can't start at corner, he's going to start at safety, and that means it's going to be him and Corker. That's just what I believe because I know I've seen the kid. I've seen the kid play in high school. He's a beast. That defense is going to be something. And I said on Mr. Leach's show, this defense on paper is going to be the best defense I've seen since I've been at Kentucky. I was affiliated with Kentucky since '93. They can move Pascal down. Now, to me, they're not going to be as, I don't want to, I think they will be, but I'm just saying this like this. They won't be as stout in that front three, but they're going to be, I can see them running a whole lot of stunts because him and Hoskins with Wright and Boogie, they're gonna be able to run some stunts, and they're gonna be disruptive because of their quickness. Our defensive line has gotten quicker, and that's gonna be a sight to see. The other thing, which is gonna be something special, which I don't know if Coach Stoops likes or Coach White likes to run this, but they have the ability now to run some more exotic zone blitz schemes with possibly Pascal being put into um, that hook zone and bring in more linebackers from a side, because now you can not theoretically, you can drop Pascal into coverage and feel comfortable with him in coverage. I mean, in the NFL, they drop big defensive tackles who are not comfortable, but they're just there. But you got a guy who's familiar with zone concept, zone coverage. Now you got him with his hand on the ground. Now you can bring both linebackers. Crazy. You can bring both linebackers in the out. You can bring both inside linebackers and an outside linebacker and have Pascal cover the hook and be comfortable with it. With him actually covering the hook, not just him being in that space. Hopefully the quarterback sees a opposite color and not want to throw it. It's scary. It's really scary how good this defense can be. We got quicker. We got quicker at every position. We got quicker at linebacker. We got quicker at the defensive line. Bohanna's still there, manning that center, and he's got to be double. So that's a center and guard. Man, I'm excited. And the secondary got better. I'm telling you. As a former secondary guy, you lose one guy, it can throw off the whole secondary. Because sometimes the importance of that one guy can put guys in position that they are not as comfortable in. If Robinson's ready to play, let's say Robinson isn't ready to play, I'm still cool with Corker and Asian being in the back with Eccles and Joseph at the corner. And if any of these young boys come ready to play at that defensive, at the outside linebacker, Weaver showed flashes. As I said, I tweeted out earlier this year, Jordan Wright is my sleeper guy. Him and Boogie. And all we need is Peters, Weaver, Carey to come ready to play. And if they do, that we are too deep at every position. Now, safety maybe as not as much, but I'm interested to see what Mo Douglas does. No, we are too deep at every position. Quality too deep. At some position, we're 3 deep, which is unheard of. I'm so excited. This is the first year ever that I've been excited for spring football. And that's counting me playing. Hated spring football. But I'm beyond excited. And like I said on Alicia, I'm the schedule worked out this year with my kids being out of school, and I'm trying my best to head up there to Lexington for that spring game, and then we'll go on vacation after. Because I gotta see this. Because like I say, we don't come from the booth. Just like I've been preaching, I've been clamoring, I've been voicing, I've been begging to see my man Armani play quarterback. Because I've seen it. I've seen the talent. And I want to see would it translate to this level. Because the arm talent is there. I want to see him do it on this level and in Excel, because I personally think he has it in him. I don't know. What's the word? His knowledge level of scheme and taking that from the classroom to the field, because that is a big thing once you get in college, because everybody is He can't out athletic someone now. But I am eager to see this, man. So I'm here. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I talk too much about damn basketball. I can say that. All right, man.